So, good to see you. Welcome. If you are a regular Namaste student, glad to see you again. If you are visiting from from Cleveland Public Square, welcome. So, this is Yoga on the Screen. It's presented by Cleveland Public Square and hosted by Namaste Yoga Studio. If you're looking for more information on things that are going on at Public Square, follow their social media pages for additional content. So ordinarily, I would be down in Cleveland on Public Square teaching a class to whoever showed up. I'm doing the same thing this afternoon. Only difference is I'm doing it from my home studio, and I'm glad to see you all. And so let me start off with the Namaste Studio announcements. We have classes available on Facebook Live, like we're watching right now. We have Facebook video, so you just click on the videos and you'll see all the classes that have been taught. We have a YouTube page, Namaste Yoga Studio. You can look it up there and you'll recognize our logo. We have some things to take care of. We could use your help. If you go to the Namaste website and check us out there, give us some feedback, how you see yourself starting back at the studio. The teachers all gathered on Sunday, and we want to make sure that we offer a space, as always, that's focused on what works best for you. So we won't know that unless you tell us. So you can just click on the contact us link and give us your thoughts as far as when you see yourself being comfortable coming back, any concerns that you have, and of course we're open to suggestions because never has this been done before. So weigh in. It's your time to do that, please. We would love to hear from you. And then speaking of hearing from you, thank you so much for any feedback that you share or any way that you choose to stay connected to us. We are really, really grateful for our community, and we're grateful to expand our community out to Cleveland Public Square. I have taught down there, I think, 4 different occasions, and it's always really fun, and there's a great energy, and people bring their mats. And today, of course, I would like you to have fun too. We can have some great energy. We'll just do it, virtually. So start off in an easy seated pose. Go ahead and reach for your hips. Maybe create a little space by lifting the right hip and gently bringing it down, and then lifting the outside of the left hip. Feel the inseam come in a little bit, and you'll come down, and you'll create a nice seat for yourself. And then stack your spine, hug your belly in towards the spine, and feel yourself lengthen from your tailbone up through the top of the head. We're just sort of getting settled in here, so if you feel like wiggling around a little bit and loosening yourself up, it's nice if you can drop your knees a little bit lower than your hips. So sometimes it's better to sit up on a blanket, or maybe have a block, or perhaps some pillows, but you want to be firm in whatever seat you've had. All right? And then from there, begin to really focus on your breath. And take a full breath in and a full breath out. If it feels good, let your hands rest on your thighs and slide your elbows back so they come under your shoulders. Palms are facing upward. Close your eyes and settle into the rhythm of your breath. As you inhale, I'll invite you to count to 4, your pace. And as you exhale, count to 6. Inhale, count to 4. And exhale, count to 6. Inhale to 4, exhale to 6. continue on, making a little more time for letting go. Not only of the breath, but maybe just letting go of whatever you came to your mat with. And then we'll slow things down a little bit more by taking an in-breath, counting to 6, and an exhale, counting to 9. And as you enjoy the rhythm of your breath, I'd like to share with you from one of my favorite yoga authors. She writes all these great poems. Her name is Dana Fall, and this book is From Root to Bloom. And the name of this is called Circle of Breath. Inhale and I let go. Over and over, the circle of breath brings me into this moment. The even flow of air, the act of taking in and giving back, breathing draws me inside the radiant reality of now. I can't breathe deeply and be fearful. Breathe freely and be anywhere but here. The whole of me embodied in these waves of breath. And then let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center. Let go of any controlling of the breath. Just feel the waves of the breath moving through you. And with the hands at heart center, make a little bit of space by lifting the chest up towards the thumbs, bringing the tips of the shoulder blades closer together on the back body, engaging the strength of the core. Take a full breath in, a full breath out. And bow your head to your heart. And then as you begin to flutter your lashes open, lift your chin. And opening the eyes, float your hands out wide, turn the palms, reach the arms up and overhead. Good, and exhale, release the hands out to the side. Inhale, float on the breath, the arms come up and overhead. And now exhale and release to the floor. And one more breath, reach the arms up and overhead. Soften your shoulders, sink down into your hips. Feel yourself get really tall through the tips of your fingers. And then whenever you're ready, release your left hand to the side. Anchor into that right hip. Spider walk the right finger or the left fingertips out, leaning to your left, reaching through the right fingertips. And inhale, come back up, and we'll switch sides. Just anchoring in, we're warming up the body so we can move a little bit. We'll switch sides. Inhale, come back, and switch sides. Switch sides again. Good, and even things out. All right, inhale and come back up. Take a full breath, reach your right arm up, and then from your belly, twist and take your right hand over to your left knee. Take your left hand behind you. Inhale the spine long, hugging the belly in, and then deepening into your twist. And you'll allow a couple of breaths to find your way into the space of the twist. And you're not in a hurry to do it, and it's not about turning your head. It's about actually twisting from the belly up through the top of the spine. The head rests at the top of the spine. Inhale, come back up, and switch sides. Take your time, making your way into that space. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Good, and then exhale, release your hands back down to the floor. Feel yourself pushing into your fingertips, creating space up into your armpits. So you may have to fool with where you place your hands in order to find that length through the spine and the torso. So if we're going to find that full breath in, we need all the length we can get from the tailbone up through the top of the head. Just feeling the breath. Nice. All right, so if you have a block nearby, if you don't have a block, you can use whatever props you have, or you can skip the props. All right, let's come up into a squat. So we've got a block, and you can use your block, and if you feel like squat, sitting up high is good for you, great. If you want to drop the squat down a little bit, also great. Take your hands inside your elbows. If you don't need the block and you just want to sort of hang out without the block, also great. Bringing your hands to heart center again, just pushing your knees into your elbows, lifting your heart up towards your thumbs, feeling whatever space you're feeling. Feel the strength of your core as you hug your belly in and drop your hips towards the floor. All right, now let's lift the hips up and heel toe the feet out a little bit. Good, and now you're kind of up on your fingertips. Straighten into your left leg and lift your toes. Good, you feel that inseam stretch, or maybe you feel something different, but that's what I'm feeling. And then we'll come back, we'll put the left foot down, we'll straighten into the right leg. And again, just lifting the toes, notice what you're feeling. And we'll switch sides. And come back and switch sides. And we'll do that a third time. Good. All right. Good. Anybody feel that stretch on the inseam there? Hugging the toes back. Nice. All right, now come back to your squat. And notice if you feel some sort of shift. And then go ahead and lift your hips up, drop your head down, turn your heels out so your feet are a little bit wide, and pushing into your feet, inhale, rise up, reach the arms up and overhead, and exhale, take your hands to heart center. Heel toe your feet so that they are right underneath your hip bones. Good, and look down at your feet. Make sure that the feet are pointing forward. Floating the arms up and overhead. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Hug the belly in. Good. Full breath in and a full exhale. Exhale, take your hands through the center of your heart. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, back to heart center. Again, one more time. Reaching the arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands through the center of your heart. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs. Come into a half forward fold. So in half forward fold, we keep the knees soft and we stretch the back of the hamstrings and we stretch the low back, but we balance it by strengthening the core. Push into your feet, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, we'll do that again, half forward fold. So it's not overdue in the low back yet, we just sort of are getting the body warmed up. Push down, rise up. And we'll come into that third half forward fold, extending long through the top of the head. Feel the strength of the legs as you reach through the top of the head. And then exhale, release your hands down to the mat, bending your knees a lot again. So your squat is more with the arms in between, or the legs in between your arms. Now the hands should be on the mat, a little broader than your shoulders, and you'll step your feet back into a plank pose. Take a full breath here, and lift your hips up to the ceiling. First downward facing dog. Go ahead and be playful with it. Maybe you want to swish your hips from side to side, bend into your knees a little bit. Do what feels good to you. Take a breath here, lifting the hips up to the ceiling. Bring your shoulders forward, you're in plank, but this time you'll lower to a low plank with the knees on the floor. Take an inhale, lengthen through the top of the head, keeping your elbows next to your body. Lower your chest halfway down, and then pull through. Come up into cobra. Look down the length of the nose. Push into the tops of your feet so you feel the engagement of the legs. As you drag your hands back, pull your heart forward. And then bringing your forehead back to the mat, lift up plank to down dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Float or drag your left foot till it comes up to your left hand. Take a breath, lift up to your fingertips so the left knee is right over the left ankle. Bring your right knee down so it's behind your hip. Then bring your hands up to the knee, lift the heart, float the arms up and overhead, coming into a nice low lunge. Breathe and notice what you're noticing. And we'll cartwheel our hands back down to the front of the mat. Lift the right knee. Take a breath. Push into the left foot. Bring the right foot up to meet the left. Push into both feet. Inhale. Rise up. Reach your arms up and overhead at the top of the mat. Exhale. Hinge at the hips. Hands to the floor. Step your feet back. Plank pose. Lift up to downward facing dog. Wiggle your hips. Just enjoying the space. Pull forward. Plank pose. Lower to your knees. Knees, chest, chin. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift up cobra. Feel that space as you look down the length of the nose. And bringing your forehead to the mat. Curl your toes. Plank pose to downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg, three-legged dog, and float the right foot to the right hand. Drag the right foot to the right hand is also an option. Release the left knee to the floor, hands to the right knee. Rise up. So you want the right knee to stay weight-bearing. Float the arms up. Melt the shoulders away. Rising with your breath. Release your hands to the floor. Take your right knee back to meet your left. You're in low plank. Lift up into high plank. Back into downward facing dog. Breathe and notice. Look in between your hands. Walk your feet forward. Push into your feet. As you inhale, rise up. Reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. You're in that low, you're coming way low again. So your knees are in between your arms. Step your feet back. Plank pose. Good. Breathe and notice here. Inhale, lift up, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Float your right foot forward. Drag your right foot. Do what you need to do to get the right foot there. Inhale, rise up. Now remember, you can bring your left knee down to the floor if that feels better to you. Otherwise, we're in a high lunge. The arms are up and overhead. The core is strong. And your breath is steady. Release your hands to the mat. Push into the right foot. Float the left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, rise up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands to the floor. Step your feet back. Plank pose. Good. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Float your left foot forward. To your left hand, high lunge on this side. Inhale, rise up. Hugging the belly, feel yourself get heavy through your hips as you reach to your fingertips. Feel that right thigh lift a little bit. Feel the left thigh soften a little bit. And we'll release the hands to the floor. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Plank pose. Lower to your knees. Keeping your elbows next to your body. Lower the chest halfway. And pull all the way through, come up into cobra. Curl the toes under. Let's meet in child's pose. Take your knees wide, bring your big toes together. Send your hips back so they're heavy over your heels. Release your head to the floor. Come down into child's pose. And really allow yourself to feel that breath coming in and just as gently going out. All right, let's walk the hands back and come up into a tabletop pose. Take another breath. Exhale into cat stretch. Inhale through to cow. Back and forth between your cat and your cow, feeling the way your breath connects to the rhythm of your body. So the rhythm of the body and the breath are connected. All right, let's come back to center. Step the feet back into plank pose. Take a breath in. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Look to your right hand. Float your right foot forward. Take a breath. Turn your left heel to the earth and let's rise up. Warrior two. We've got the weight of the shoulders over the hips and we're just breathing. Hands to the hips, straighten the right leg. Turn your feet parallel to one another. Good. Take another breath. Turn your left toes out to the side. Settle into your warrior two on this side. Feel the weight of the hip get heavy on the left side, but balance it with the strength of the right leg, pushing the right foot into the earth, arms out wide. Remember to breathe. All right, cartwheel your hands to the back of your mat. Turn your right heel up, step your left foot back to meet it. Take another breath. Inhale, downward facing dog. Now we'll lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Push into your right heel, float your right foot forward. Turn your left foot to the earth. Rise up into your warrior two. Yep, you should be facing in the opposite direction. I'm not going to turn my backside to you. All right, take a breath. Let it go. Good. We'll come to warrior two on the opposite side. So we'll rise up. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. We'll rise up. We'll bring the left knee over the left ankle. Warrior two. Beautiful. All right, now cartwheel your hands to frame that left foot. And you're back into downward facing dog again. Little circle there, circle of breath. All right, now let's lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Float the left foot to the left hand. Turn the right heel to the earth. Take your left forearm to your left knee. There you go. Roll the right shoulder over the left. Reach your right arm up and overhead. Breathe and notice. Rise up, straighten the left leg. Ooh, I'm turning my backside. Don't look. Straighten into the leg. Now let's go to the opposite side. So now we bend into the right knee. Take the right elbow to the right knee. Reach the left arm up. Extending into Parsbo. Frame the right foot. Turn the left heel up. Take the right foot back to meet the left. Inhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, three-legged dog. Float the left foot forward to the left hand. Turn the right heel to the earth. Release your left elbow to the left knee. Parsvottanasana on this side. Extending from the right foot through the right fingertips. You're getting the whole view of your home studio. No need to look at the camera or the film or the video. Just extend and breathe through the space you're exploring. Take your right hand, rise up, turn your feet parallel to one another. Turn your right toes out, bend into the right knee, place the right forearm onto the right knee, reach the left arm up. Extending from the left foot through the left fingertips. Look to the floor. Cartwheel your hands to the floor. Take the right foot back to meet the left. You're in plank pose. Inhale, lift up. You're in downward facing dog. All right, now I'm offering you an option. You can lower to your knees when you pull forward into plank and do knees, chest, chin. Or you can chaturanga through. So I'm instructing chaturanga. Hugging the belly in towards your spine. Lift up to your toes. Keep your elbows right where they are. Bring your shoulders forward. Right, so you're bending the elbows. Engaging the core, lower your chest halfway down. And then let's lift up into our up dog. Knees, chest, chin, and cobra are also a great option. Curling the toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Float on the breath, bring the right foot forward. Turn the left heel to the earth, rise up, reverse your warrior. Heavy in the right hip. Extending from the right hip through the right fingertips. Inhale, rise up. Turn your feet parallel to one another. Turn your left toes out. Bend into your left knee. Reverse the warrior on this side. Extending from the left hip through the left fingertips. And we'll cartwheel the hands towards the back edge of the mat. Turn the right heel up. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Take a breath. Inhale, lift up into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Float your right foot up to your right hand. Inhale, rise up to your reverse warrior. Turning the left heel to the earth. And reversing. Good. Inhale, come back up. Straighten into the right leg. Turn the left toes out. Good. And we'll come into the opposite side. All right, cartwheel your hands to the front of your mat. Step your feet back, plank pose. Once more, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, but I'm instructing chaturanga. Lift to your toes, keeping the elbows next to your body. From your elbows, come forward, lower down, pull through, up into your up dog. Back into your downward facing dog. All right, let's lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Float on the breath, bring the right foot forward. Reach for your block, put it right next to the right foot. Turn your left heel to the floor. Inhale, and rise up. You're in a warrior two. And then straighten your right leg. Good, don't lock it. Keeping the left hip back. Engage your core, reach the arms forward, and release the right hand to the block. Roll the left shoulder over the right. You're up on your fingertips. So no worries, you can bring your hand to your calf. Not worry about whether your hand can touch the floor, but it is nice if you can bring your left shoulder over your right. I push down into your feet. Inhale, you got that block nearby. Rise up, turn your feet parallel, place the block behind the left ankle, turn your left toes out to the side. Float your arms out wide, keeping that right hip where it is. Reach into your triangle pose on this side. Floating on your breath, just enjoying the space. Maybe you found a little heat already this evening. Breathe into that. Feel that right shoulder over the left. If I were in the room with you, I'd encourage you to push your hand into my hand, even though I wouldn't be able to touch you anymore. But that whole sensation of really feeling the shoulders hug onto the back. All right, let's cartwheel the hands to the back of the mat. Turn your right heel up. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Inhale, lift up, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Float the right foot forward. Rise up with the block behind the right foot. And as you come up, you're in a warrior two, but then you'll straighten into the right leg. And you'll make your way forward into triangle. Reaching that left arm up and overhead. Inhale, come up and switch sides. Place the block behind your left ankle, turning the toes. Good. Here we go. Tip your way into triangle. And cartwheel your hands to frame that left foot. Turn your right heel up. You should be at the front of your mat. Step your feet back into plank pose. And then up into downward facing dog. And then we'll pull through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Your choice. Cobra or up dog. Knees will come wide, big toes kiss together. Send your hips heavy over your heels. So again, maybe you found a little bit of heat. Breathe into that heat. Just notice it. Inhale, come back up into tabletop pose. Step your feet forward to your hands. Push into your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. Turn on your mat so that your feet are wide on the mat. And stepping the feet wide. Toes are going to point towards the front of the room. Good. Gauge the strength of the core. Turn your heels in one click. Bend into your knees, sink down into your hips. Lifting the heart, lifting the chest. Just breathing here. Feel your tailbone get heavy. Feel the strength of your core. Again, do you feel the inseams of the legs? Can you let the hips broaden out to the outside? Just getting that nice little roll. And then as you push down into your feet, straighten into your legs. Turn your heels out one click. And now the feet are pointing from the middle of the ankle to the second toe forward. Good, and then reach your arms out wide, coming into five-pointed star. Feel that space, feel the breath. Turn your right toes out to the side. Bend into your right knee. Beautiful. We're back in our warrior two. Spend some time as you settle the weight of the shoulders over the hips, hug into the core, and breathe. Full breath in and a full exhale, letting go. Maybe a little longer on the letting go as you sink the weight of the shoulders down into the hips. Release the right forearm to the right knee. Float the left arm over the left ear. Coming into Parsvottanasana again. Maybe enjoying the tempo. And staying where you are in the hips, reach your left arm down your left leg, reach your right arm up, reverse your warrior. Inhale, come back up. Just for a moment, you're in warrior two, and then you'll straighten the right leg. That might feel really good. All All right, inhale, feel yourself heavy in the hips but light through the top of the head. Reach that right arm in front towards the right leg. Release the right hand either to the calf, to the block, maybe to the floor, but remember, it's more important that we bring the heart open. Bring your left hand to your hip, inhale and rise up. Good. Let's switch sides. Turn the feet parallel. Take your left toes, turn them out to the side. Bend into your left knee. We'll start in Warrior Two. Looking out over that left hand. It's feeling the strength of the hips dropping down, or the shoulders dropping into the hips. And feeling the rhythm of your breath nice and steady. Hug those legs strong towards one another. Come into your Parsva. Release the left forearm down to the left knee. Float the right arm up and over the right ear. Rolling the right shoulder over the left. Bring your right hand to your right leg. Keep your legs where they are. Rise up, bringing the weight of the shoulders over the hips. Float the left arm up and reverse your warrior. All familiar shapes, we've done them already. We're just sort of coming at them in a different way. All right, straighten into the left leg, reach your arms out wide. Tilt your way into triangle. Feel that right shoulder come over the left, take your head back. Breathe and notice your space. As you open up that right shoulder over the left, take your head back. Inhale, rise up. Turn your feet parallel to one another. As you exhale, keep your hips where they are. Bring your heart forward. Release your fingertips towards the floor. And then exhale, surrender the head to the floor. Go ahead and shake your head out. Maybe you want to shift your weight from one leg over to the other. All right, inhale, lift up to your fingertips. Feel the space from your hips to your armpits. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale and rise up. Heel to the feet back together again. Beautiful. All right, so you've got your block nearby. Bring it to the top of your mat and come into the shape of a square. So you'll hinge at the hips, square, as in public square, right? All right, hinge at the hips. Release your hand to the block. Bend your knees a little, maybe a little bit more than a little. Hug the legs in. Feel the space from your hips to your armpits. Push into your right foot. Bring your left foot behind your left hip. Lift the leg. Come up onto your fingertips. Extending from the left heel through the top of the head. Turn your left toes out. Hugging your belly in towards your spine, begin to roll the left shoulder over the right. Float on a breath. Bring the left arm up. Straighten into that right leg. Yep, you can fool around, you can play, you can fall, you can lose your balance, you can do all those things, or you can just float on your breath. All right. Release, come all the way up. Let's turn the feet wide again. And we'll step to the back of the mat. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So hinging at the hip. And you might find the funny thing about balance is one side of your body can be completely different than the other when it comes to balance. So we'll hinge at the hips again. Come up onto the fingertips. Push into your left foot. Right hand's on your hip. Lift the right leg behind the hip. Turn the right toes. Oh, I don't even know if that's going to work for me tonight. Turn the right toes out, but maybe it's working for you, and that's awesome. Hug your belly. Bring your right shoulder over your left. Float your right arm up. Turn the corners of your mouth up. That's right, we're just doing yoga. Maybe we'll find the shape, maybe we won't. Right, the circle. Just keep coming around. We can just keep trying. All right, exhale and release. Turn your feet wide again. Wide on your mat. Good. All right, hinging at the hips, bring your hands forward. Walk the palms onto the floor. Walk the hands forward, bringing your head in between your arms, pushing back into your hips. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders, and then turn your fingertips behind you. Walk the hands under your hips. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your feet back together again. Bend your knees so much that your bottom can come to the floor. Good. All right, let's come all the way onto our bellies. Stack your hands, one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Shift your hips from side to side until the weight of the hips is even. After a few rounds of breath, reach your hands out in front of you and turn so that you're on the knife edges of your hands. Release your forehead to the mat. Take a breath. Lift your left arm and left shoulder in your head. Lift your right leg. Exhale, come back down. Lift your right arm, your right shoulder in your head. Lift your left leg. Come back down. Again, we'll move with the rhythm of our breath, lifting the left leg, the right leg, come down. Lift on the right arm, right shoulder, head, left leg, come back down. All right, you know what we're doing here. We're just sort of swimming in the shape of our pose. Using the rhythm of our breath, we keep coming back to a nice steady breath. And then surrender to the breath. Stack your hands. Go ahead and bend your knees and release the low back by shifting the feet from side to side. Resting your forehead on your hands. All right, let's come up into full locust pose. Arms are out in front. This is going to seem easy after what we just did. All right, you'll take a breath, you'll lift both arms, you'll lift the head, you'll lift the legs. Squeeze the forearms isometrically towards each other, squeeze the legs. Lift your belly strong towards your low back. Extend through the top of the head. Exhale, release. Hands next to the chest, child's pose. Surrender into your child's pose. All right, walk your hands back and make your way all the way down onto your backs. Bringing your feet to the front of your mat. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. your arms in between your legs and reach for the outside of your calves, maybe the backs of your knees. Some of you may be able to reach the outer edges of your feet, but send your feet up towards the ceiling with the knees bent. Coming into happy baby pose. So allow yourself to rock a little bit from side to side. And release your feet to the floor. Tuck your shoulders underneath your chest. Again, you want to rock a little bit until you feel like you're balanced on both sides of the body. The feet are near your hips. Your shoulders are on the floor. Your hands are next to your hips. Take a full inhale. As you push down into your feet, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, coming up into bridge or Setu Bandha Sarvangasana if you're throwing around Sanskrit. As you push down into your feet, lift up into your hips. Push into your shoulders, lift up into your hips. Push into the back of the head, lift up into your hips. So we've done some nice hip opening today, and I think you may be surprised how much space you have in the front of your body. Back bends bring up lots of energy in the body. Energy that we can just keep moving with the rhythm of our breath through the circles. Exhale and release your hips straight down to the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock again from side to side. Release your feet to the floor. Again, we'll find bridge pose. Make your way up as you root down into the foundation. Now, some of you may be able to clasp your hands behind your hips, tuck your shoulders a little deeper, and continue to lift the hips a little bit higher. It's not a contest, no one's paying attention. Do what feels good to you. You could grab your block and slide it underneath your sacrum if that feels good to you. Exhale, release your hands, make your way all the way down. Hug your knees to your chest again, rock from side to side. All right, third bridge. Option is to do the first one. Option is to use a block. Option is to do the one we just did. Third option, tuck your shoulders under your chest, feet on the floor. Inhale the hips up to the ceiling. Take a breath. Come up onto the tips of your toes. Lift your hips a little higher. Place your hands right underneath your hips with the elbows right underneath your shoulders. Keep your neck so it's moving freely, and then release your heels down to the floor. Feel the heart lift, feel the breath moving freely through the body. Back bends of your choice. All poses, always your choice. It always comes back around to that. Exhale and come all the way down. Hug your knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. Come back into happy baby pose. Arms come in between the legs. Hands rest where it feels good to you, but send your hips up towards the ceiling. Melt your knees down towards your armpits. Rock again from side to side. Bring the feet back down to the floor. Take your arms out into a T. Lift your hips, move them to the right side of the mat. Let your knees drop to the left. Take your gaze to your right hand and breathe into the twist. Inhale, come back to center, square yourself up on your mat so you're nice and level on the mat. And this time we'll lift the hips and move them to the left side of the mat and drop the knees to the right, looking over to the left hand. Find that space. Inhale, come back to center, square yourselves up. Take your knees in towards your armpits, rock a little bit from side to side. Engage the core, lift your chest, lift your head to your knees, rock a little bit from side to side. No strain in the neck. Release, come all the way down, reach your arms behind you, reach your legs in front of you. Feel yourself get really long through the right side of your body and release, and then get really long through the left side of your body and then release. Now get long through the fingertips, long through the toes. Stretch, 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 stretch. And exhale and release. As you release, let yourself spend as much energy letting go as you did finding the stretch. We'll get ready for Shavasana. If you started off with a pair of socks or a sweatshirt, go ahead and reach for those things. If you had a blanket, maybe you want to put the blanket over you. Perhaps you'd like to bring the blanket under your knees. You can grab some pillows if you'd like. Wherever you settle into your Shavasana though, make sure that you come into it from a place of symmetry. So if your right hand is heavy, your left hand should be heavy. If your right leg is heavy, your left leg should be heavy. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes. Take your awareness to your baby toe on the right side. And then the next toe, the ring toe, and the middle toe on the right side. And then the next toe, and then the big toe. Take your awareness over to the left side, the baby toe, and the next one in, ring toe, then the middle toe, the index toe, the big toe, take your awareness to right calf, right shin, take your awareness to the left calf and the left shin. Take your awareness to your right hip. Make your way over to the left hip. To the right waistline, to the left waistline, to the right ribs, to the left ribs, to the right shoulder, the left shoulder, to the right pinky, to the right finger, ring finger, to the right middle finger, to the right pointer, to the right thumb. Feel the weight of the right arm surrendering to the floor. Make your way to the left pinky, the left index, the left pointer, the left middle, the left pointer, the left thumb. Feel the release of the arms, the left arm surrendering equally as the right arm did. Feel your head relaxing on the floor. Feel your breath rising and falling. Then, whenever you're ready, bend into your knees. Pull them closer to your chest and roll and rest on your right side. Stay there for a couple rounds of breath. And then make your way back up into a seated pose, keeping your eyes closed or just gently looking down. Once more, I'd like to share from Dana Fall's From Root to Bloom. Circle of breath. Inhale and let go. Over and over, the circle of breath brings me into this moment. The even flow of air, the act of taking in and giving back. Breathing draws me inside the radiant reality of now. I can't breathe deeply and be fearful. Breathe freely and be anywhere but here. The whole of me embodied in these waves of breath. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. This year, like years in the past, thank you to Cleveland Public Square for inviting us to teach yoga on the screen this year, as opposed to yoga on the green. And I'm always so grateful to be part of the Namaste Yoga Studio community. With love and gratitude, namaste. Thank you.